Hey, it's Gerald. Once again, Yes, Elvis Lives from YourGameSource.com. And I'm here now with Jay Bartlett
Hey,
from well, actually, I don't want to say the star because you don't like that to be paraphrased, but the man profiled. How about that? The,
yeah, that's a little bit. That's more comfortable for me.
okay, the collector profiled in the documentary Nintendo Quest, now screening all across the country. And in fact, we're going to talk about their next screening coming up. It will be available next month on DVD and home video outlets. Um, that if anybody wants more information, they need to go to NintendoQuest.com. Once again, that's NintendoQuest.com if you're listening or watching. Jay, it's great to have you on. How are you, my friend?
Oh, thanks, Gerald. It's been a while, man, since I saw you. Vegas, yeah, Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the day of the screening. I as I told Rob, I was very honored. Still to this day, one of the great privileges of my life was to introduce to you guys to the audience in Las Vegas,
Oh,
and really was for a great cause because Nintendo Quest, the documentary itself, as we've rated on the YourGameSource.com website. Just excellent piece of filmmaking,
oh,
and just the detail outline. If you have not seen the film for some reason, and you're crazy if you haven't, the well, it outlines the your trials and tribulations as a collector trying to take up Rob's challenge of collecting over 700 NES cartridges, and doing it within a 30-day span without online purchases. And that's basically the outline of it, correct? But as you and I both know,
yeah. It's amazing still, Gerald, to this day when we do the different screenings in the different cities. People go into it, and I don't want to change what the movie's about because the movie's about video games. It is, but I mean, people go into it, and that's what they're expecting, and then at the end of the movie, they're just kind of really shocked and blown away as to what they've seen, and they're
because
not,
it's so much more.
yeah, they're not really expecting the personal story. So I'm happy about that. I really am.
That's awesome, that not only Rob was able to portray it, but that you were I don't want to say brave, but you were awesome enough to go ahead and be filmed for that entire process and to show every side of you because I know it's for some people that have been profiled and things that nature. They're always cognizant of the camera, so they're never actually showing their true self at any point in time. And I know the people watching, without any spoilers, anything of that nature, do get to see you in your true nature throughout the film, and I think it comes off very honest. And I think that's one of the best parts of the film is that they get a true, honest vision of what your quest was all about, and also you as an individual. And tell me your thoughts on that, and then we'll go on a little bit more about your thoughts coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Rob is an absolute wonderful filmmaker, and of course, he's my best friend. But he has a way when you're working with him to make you feel so comfortable that you don't even really know what's going on, if that makes sense. So this is the room here. This is my first game room in my house. This is the room just over there where we shot my one-on-one interviews, and he was you can't see, of course, but he was standing right in the doorway here with the camera. And he's like, let's just talk. And we started talking about something that had nothing to do with the film. It was, some show we were both watching or something. And then it just kind of snowballed into talking about things. And before I knew it, all this stuff had spewed out in me. And he just has such a wonderful, natural way of making you feel comfortable. You don't feel like you're being interviewed. And then the rest of the process, I had two cameras on me for a whole month, pretty much the whole time. And it's very natural. He was, we were laughing about it a lot of the times. And yeah, he's just a wonderful filmmaker.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that Nintendo Quest is truly, I don't want to say give it a landmark in filmmaking per se, but it's really
Oh,
damn good. It's really damn good. We scored it a 9.5 out of 10.
yeah,
We were
awesome.
honored. We were honored to. It didn't. It wasn't going to work out that way. We were going to let another source actually review it first and post a review online, but things kind of fell out to where we were able and honored to be the first one to post that online. So we truly appreciate that opportunity because it's a hell of a good film. But that being said, you're going to show this hell of a good film in about a week's time on the 25th and 26th
Yeah,
in your hometown,
yeah,
London, Ontario.
yeah. Kind of where it all began. We're screening it at the Highland Cinema, which is a very historical cinema in our small little city here. Um, it's been there for a long time, and it's got a personal connection for Rob and I for many different reasons. One, for him, he screened Unearthly, which was his sci-fi movie before Nintendo Quest. And for me, it's personal because it's where my grandma and I saw Return of the Jedi the very first day when it opened. Um, so to be playing it there, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So for me to be able to show my film there is very, very personal for me, and it's very, I don't know, I'm really humbled by that. So the second day is at the London Comic Con, which is the first annual, I believe. The first time this con's ever been here, and there's just a ton of wonderful guests there, including George Martinet, which I'm so super excited to talk to. Yeah, we're gonna screen it there, and then we're gonna have a booth so everyone can come by, say hi, and we'll sign whatever you want and talk games. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really great weekend. And if I may continue, if that's okay, the day before on the 24th, our good friend Joe Bonacia has put together a concert at Rum Runners, which is a great rock bar in our city. And there's going to be a ton of great bands there. It's only $10 at the door, and it's the pre-screening party. So Rob and I will be there in attendance, of course, to get things running. We're going to have a huge NES tournament going, not unlike the Wizard. Our local radio station FM 96 will be there. So again, it's this one. Again, I've said every city is special for different reasons. This one is obviously a homecoming, so it's pretty special in its own right.
And that's going to be the gist of my article coming up is you guys. Um, I know Rob didn't want me to spell it out as the local boys made good deal coming back home
Yeah,
since you live there, but it is something that, like you said, it's got to be very special to you, and it's okay if it's more special than Beverly Hills or Las Vegas or Texas, obviously Phoenix, all the different places where you've shown the film across America, because it's home for you. What does that feel like, knowing that in about a week's time that you're going to be presenting your piece of art to the people that you know oh so well and people that you're more familiar with than any other?
it's a different kind of nervous feeling. I have to be honest when I say I really don't know what to feel. I know it's going to be exciting and it's going to be great, but there's something about going to different cities and screening it to total strangers who don't know what you're about or what the film's about, and then them coming up to you after and be like, "Wow, man, this film changed me," or "This film, has altered the way I look at things." That to me, and again, I'm not discounting the home screening. I'm not, but there's something when strangers come up to you and say that's really touching. I mean, of course, my mom's gonna like it. What is she gonna say? No, no, I don't like it. So and my cousins are gonna be there and all my friends, and I'm not discrediting them. I think it's gonna be a wonderful week.
Has
Um,
she actually seen it in its entirety?
she saw the rough screening. We had a family and friends screening last August at University of Western here, and she was there. And as you know, she's in it for a few scenes. So yeah, she liked it. I don't. She's a wonderful woman, and she's very old fashioned. She doesn't understand how, first of all, what the point is and how you can make a living out of it. I'm like, well, we're working on it, Mom. Give us time. This is the first step kind of deal. She doesn't get it, but she's been very supportive of me, and she's responsible for getting me into these video games. So
As my mom, my 82-year-old mom, can figure out what I'm doing either as well with Game Source. So
she's like, so okay, so you're going hunting for video games. I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, let's break it down. And then you go to these conventions and people think you're wonderful. I'm just like, she's like, how does that make sense? I'm like, don't worry about it, Mom. I'm like, say it's fine.
You know what'd be great is if Rob was able to film the conversation she has with her friends when explaining what you do.
Yeah, because I have my day job, which I don't talk about a lot because it's just my day job, right? This is what I'm proud of and what we're working on in the future. But yeah, she's like, well, you got to make sure you can pay the rent and stuff. I'm like, thanks, mom. I've just turned 40, so I think I know what I'm doing. But
Well, we're definitely happy, and as far as is concerned, as a viewing audience, that you have did undertake a quest, and that your mom was gracious enough to allow her son to be filmed for so many days, going through so many tasks. Because I know what my mom, she would probably think if she'd probably smack me upside the head and shout some Spanish at me if I tried to do the same thing.
well, don't get me wrong. She said, you're flushing money down the toilet and all this kind of stuff. She's like, because of course it was my own funds for the games, and she didn't understand it. But I'm proud of her for talking about a lot of the personal things that are in the film because she's very tight about that stuff. She doesn't talk a lot about my family and what happened and that kind of thing. So I'm really proud of her for having the courage to doing that in front of the camera, and then we're showing it across North America. So cheers to her.
Absolutely. It takes a very brave woman indeed to say some of the things that she did. But she was obviously very, very loving in the way she obviously loves you very much and appreciates, everything that you do. Like my mom, she can't really understand it, but she just, wing it. You're not in jail, son, as she tells me, so you're doing okay.
That's awesome.
But I just want to make sure and let share your thoughts as far as concerned, because I talked to Rob last night, and in between all the audio and video difficulties and the frame rate, which seemed like at times, which for some reason, we were living in the same town, but the frame rate on our interview seemed like to come like it was a bad video game or something, like 1 FPS. But I was able to get the gist of what he was saying, and one of the things I did remark to him is that when I was standing next to you guys after I had introduced you and the film started rolling and the crowd was there, you guys were obviously intently watching the audience as you indicated. But while as where I could not tell or could not get a read on how Rob was thinking, you are more you were wearing your emotions more on your sleeve because you were nervous as far as the reaction, what type of reaction you were going to get.
Yeah.
Rob said he's hung out with so many poker players. Maybe that's why we couldn't get a beat on him. But is that going to be the same thing when you turn off the lights and start the video and start the film? As far as it's concerned, is that going to be for you as far as something that you're going to be as far as you say you're not as nervous now as maybe you would be in other places, but maybe come showtime that might be a little bit different story.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think Rob's just a little more, like you said, he's got more of a poker face than I do. When you see me, you know my mood right away. Like that's just who I am, right? So I think I was doing a lot of pacing in Vegas there, I believe, and a lot of back and forth, that kind of thing. Um, I mean, it's nerve wracking for me being the one portrayed the star, whatever you want to call it, because I was always worried, well, hopefully they like me, they find me interesting enough. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't have that, no one's going to want to watch the rest of the film. So the response has been all positive, which thank you. But that was only the second screening. So yeah, I've calmed down quite a bit since then. And I mean, just being in Vegas itself, I mean, I know it's nothing to you guys, but for me, that was my first time there. And it's the center of the universe and all that stuff. So I was nervous about that as well.
But there's been a few showings now, and you're getting I don't want to say it's becoming old hat, but this is definitely something. As Rob said, this will be the last showing before the video becomes available. Is that correct?
Yeah, the video becomes available in October. We are doing Cleveland and we are doing Portland to close the tour. Portland Retro Gaming Expo is the last showing. We're super psyched for that. But yeah, it's available in October, digitally and DVD. So that's exciting. And it's kind of weird too, knowing that every day I get so many people posting stuff on Facebook. And I think it's awesome, but just got my package today. And I know what we're doing tonight. And it's like, wow, this thing that we created, we're in someone's living room, in their personal space, and they're choosing to watch our film as entertainment for the evening. So that's quite humbling, and it's awesome. It's a great feeling. I could do this for a living. This is a good job.
And they're planning it around you guys as far as it's concerned. Like something like a let's say I would take my wife out to for a movie night. The movie we're looking for. They're actually planning everything, their whole evenings, their whole days around you. They're planning specific days and times around when they get the video in, as far as for the Kickstarter backers and whatnot. And I've seen these posted onto your Facebook wall, or Rob's Facebook wall, or the NES Club's Facebook wall, and it's just amazing to see the kind of response. Hey, I just saw it. It was awesome. I've yet to hear or read or see any negativity from it, and that's just a credit to both you, Rob, and the entire crew on that.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to ask on your crew is somebody that's really been instrumental in helping you in this process since the movie was made, and that's Glenn. I touched base with Glenn earlier this week in regards to your ever popular podcast, the Gamercast, which can be found on Podomatic. And then if you want to be a Patreon subscriber, please go ahead subscribe to both Jay and Rob, so that you can get even more footage from the Gamercast. Want to tell everybody out there.
Hey, you did my job for me. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm learning well from Rob.
Yeah.
My first interview from Rob last year taught me a lot as far as self promotion, because one thing I've learned is that from him is that if you don't promote it, no one else will. So
you can't feel bad about promoting it either, because I had this talk with him 2 years ago, and I'm like, man, we're gonna drive people nuts with this Kickstarter link. He's like, the odds that someone will actually see it in their news feed, especially on Facebook, is so low. You have to keep doing it. And there's nothing wrong with working hard either. So sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry.
No, that's exactly what I'm asking for. Yeah, your thoughts on it, because he is, I don't want to say shameless, but that's not a fault, because he is this is your guys' dream. This is your dream project right now, and this is your goal. And in order to push it big time, because with your project, with my project, with all this stuff, we don't have the large marketing firms behind us. So the marketing firm is, in this case, it's Rob and Jay.
Yeah.
So, but Glenn has been also very instrumental as far as it's concerned with you guys, is helping you out, obviously with the podcast, but doing a lot of other things. Tell me a little bit about Glenn, because I know, and I know he's been integral as far as helping you guys out, freeing you up to do a lot of other things, from what Rob was telling me.
Yeah, Glenn is a very dear friend of ours. I've known him for 13 years now. We we both worked at EB Games, so that's how I met him, and just became friends. We became bandmates after a while. He was in my band Astoria for a couple of years. He was in my original podcast. Rob had a network of podcasts. The Wired In Network was the brand, and then we all had our different shows, and mine was called The Arcade, and it was just talk about whatever. It was a round table kind of podcast, and he was featured on it. He was one of my regulars. And then that kind of went away when we started the Nintendo Quest stuff, and we first decided to do the podcast as a marketing tool to kind of spread the word more. And it quickly became something more, and we really enjoyed talking about games and found it very easy to talk and communicate with each other. And Rob always wanted to capture what it's like when him and I are on the phone, which, just a very casual, passionate conversation about whatever the topic is at the time. And then I had the idea. I really was a fan of Kevin Smith's Comic Book Men. How at the beginning of the end of the show, they were sitting at the poker table or whatever it was with their mics just facing each other. And I thought that was a really good format. So I wanted to bring it. I wanted to bring that format to the table. So we did. And the rest is history. We're bi-weekly, and now we're weekly because we just love to do it so much. And we have a Patreon page, and we have so many backers now, and that in itself is quite humbling. But
Yeah.
Glenn is the editor. He edits the whole podcast. He makes it sound great. He's also a producer on Nintendo Quest and everything else going forward. He's going to be involved with our brand as well, which I'm excited to say. And he's the backbone. He does this stuff we can't or don't have time to do, which is great. And he's very selfless. He's very hardworking, and we can't thank him enough. Because at this point, we're not making a lot of money, so he's volunteered his time and his efforts. But yeah, we're great to have him.
And that's awesome. That's awesome to hear because like I said, we corresponded earlier this week, and I've heard him on the podcast. He sounds like a terrific guy, and I just so happy for all of you guys, especially for your London, Ontario screening come up again. It's on 9/25 and 9/26. Before I let you go, what are some of the parameters as far as some of the press that you'll be doing? Some of the ways that you have a lot of interviews set up? Do you have a lot? I know you have an FM radio interview. I didn't know if it was this week or next week, so I might have been wrong when I was talking to Rob earlier. I thought it was today.
Yeah.
So.
FM 96 is our main rock station in London, and one that we've both, again, the whole nostalgia thing, we've listened to since we were kids, right? So now to be on board with those guys, and they're sponsoring it as far as, they're promoting it all next week. And Sarah Burke, who's a wonderful DJ, is having us on the Friday, the day of the screening, the Friday afternoon on her show, to interview us. And we're going to try and get on the morning show with a DJ named Taz, who's also a really hilarious dude in the morning. And we're going to try and get on his show next week as well in the morning. So they're on board. We've had countless interviews this week, at least I have in London here, with our university, with the papers, a few different papers. Yeah, I'm losing track. But like I said, it's a good thing. I could definitely do this for a living. It's so much fun. And it's great to be doing something that you love, you know what I mean, that you're proud of, and it doesn't seem like work when it's passion behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. There's been those days with game stores that wow, feedback. Okay. All right. Now back. Okay, it's been great those days with game stores that we were able to go ahead and take care of a lot of stuff on those days. We do trade shows and things like GameStop Expo, and that's great.
Yeah, that looked like a blast, man. That looked awesome.
It was. I really appreciate. I want to say publicly again for the 90th time. We appreciate GameStop. I know they're always, under the gun from a lot of individuals, and they have been from us in the past. Some of us in the past. But they were very gracious in allowing us to cover the event. Then we went to, like I said, I know Rob did have his issues. We all did with Battlefront, but they, credit EA, they popped us right to the front. They saw us as press, and that was just great to get all those interviews that day. I think you would have really loved it if you would have come out with us.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't one of those trade shows, E3, Comic-Con, CES, where it's just a mass of humanity, Gamescom or whatnot. Even PAX now these days, where it's just this mass of humanity. GameStop Expo was no more than 5,000 to 7,000 people, and people just walked and roamed freely. They would just walk up to certain games like Just Cause 3. I don't know if you're a big Just Cause fan, but
Number 2.
Yeah, I just walked up to the Square Enix booth. There was a line of televisions with the game, and I just walked up and played because none of them were being attended to. And it was just Cause 3. By the way, you do definitely want to check that out because it looked. My time with it was a lot of fun. But Rob was talking about his experiences with Activision, where he just literally just walked up right to the booth. It seemed like it all congregated in just a small area, places. Ubisoft and Microsoft, Sony, and EA, the Battlefront area, and that was it. Everywhere else was just you could just roam free and just walk up to and just start playing games, which was just
awesome.
It's just a rare experience. And hopefully they will come back to Las Vegas. They may go to Anaheim like they did last year, but it's truly an opportunity that hopefully next year you'll be able to go with us on that, or E3. Like I said, already spoke to Angry Nick to see if he could send out some feelers to them already, because I know that that's the ultimate goal for any gamer is E3. So
Yeah, I've never been, and I would definitely like to go with you guys, like we discussed before. I think that would be, man, we would just have such a killer time. It wouldn't, it wouldn't even be funny. It would
no,
just,
that would it would be awesome. I couldn't agree wholeheartedly any more than that.
yeah.
Well, it's been great. Like I said, I'm going to be writing up an article this weekend on your impending screenings at 9:25 and 9:26 London, Ontario. One more time, where it's going to be played at, and it obviously also where, if there are tickets available, which
Yep.
I heard a rumor that there might be tickets still available, where they can get them at.
NintendoQuest.com for all our screenings. The Highland one on the 25th is almost sold out. It's close. The capacity is 300, and it's almost done now. So get on that right away, guys. London Comic Con, you can go on their website, get tickets. I believe you can get them on ours as well. I'm sure we have the link up there for that as well. So yeah, check it out, guys. And I know, let's hang out after and talk games. I'm really super excited to bring this to our town.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome indeed. And you've been very gracious to not only us, but to all the fans out there. And on behalf of them, I definitely want to say thank you for everything that you've done. And thank you for you and Rob and all the crew and cast of Nintendo Quest for producing
Oh,
such an
of course.
outstanding film.
Thank you.
And something that I definitely will. I've seen it twice
Yeah,
already, and very blessed indeed to have done so. So,
that's awesome.
um,
I'm that makes me happy when people say that. It's great. And I've never understood people that have shows or people that are in bands or whatever they do that don't take the time to talk to their fans and want to talk to their fans. I've never understood that. I mean, even when I was a kid, I never understood it, because without them, you don't have anything. Do you know what I mean? So,
this is true. It's true. If they aren't putting their hard-earned dollars to work on your projects, then definitely where would you be? All these Kickstarter backers that put
yeah.
up their hard-earned money, they're finally, all of them are have gotten their products now, and
Yeah.
obviously next month more people will be able to buy and purchase and spend their hard-earned cash on it. Definitely. Is worth thanking them, if they want to go ahead and make sure and thank you publicly. Obviously, it goes both ways for you guys as well. So you guys have been gracious to your fans, gracious to us, and we definitely truly appreciate it.
Well, we're all in this together. We're all doing this for the love of video games, right? So there's no separation. There's only including everyone. That's what we've always believed in from the beginning. So
That's true, and definitely, hopefully later this year, hopefully, read your thoughts. If because you said you might be able to help us out with Star Wars Battlefront still.
100%, I am all over that. Absolutely.
Okay, because I know maybe if you think it's so great, maybe you can get Rob back into it, because I know he's not exactly thrilled with
Well,
the
I
game.
mean, I mean, it's tough having 5-10 minutes or whatever it is at an expo to really form an opinion. I mean, I heard what he said about it, and that's cool. But I think when you're in your own game room and you got the place to yourself and you could just sit down and try the different modes, I think that's more worthy of a review. So yeah, I'm gonna tear that one apart. So
I know the beta is going to be coming again sometime real soon, most likely in October, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, it's it's
Uh,
it's for everyone. Yeah,
yeah. So, do you have a PS4 like he does, or are you Xbox One?
I have both.
Oh, sweet. So then he will be able to go online. Let me know, because I'll jump on with you guys as well, and hopefully he'll get a better opinion of it, because he'll be able to have more time under it. Uh, as long as it's not the Hoth level again for him, I guess. So.
Oh, come on. And I find two games like that as well. When you are playing with your buddies again, it's so much more fun than if you're just playing with, strangers. So,
And it's well, I understand his and also other members of the media. Don't get me wrong, because other members of the media have voiced their opinion on the hot, another Hoth level. But I'm not sure if they remember the fact that, when was the last time a Hoth level was used? Um, it wasn't the most recent Star Wars iterations.
there's that, and it's the unveil, right? It's the first level. They're not going to show you a planet from episode 7 and let you play that when the movie's not even out. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
if you're thinking ground assault, it's the Hoth level. I mean, it doesn't get more iconic than that.
True. True. My only issues with the game right now is I think they should utilize the music a little bit more to get, because that music always gets you pumping and always gets you going, especially for longtime fans like you and I.
Yeah.
And then also as well, I'd like to see space battles. I understand that they nixed it. I understand that they're still doing the air assault as far as, but within the planetary structure. They're going to have the mode where it's 20 on 20, just air battles and whatnot, which is good, which is great. But I think just to capture that whole Star Wars theme, I think they should have just included space battles, because I know somebody said, well, actually, somebody said the other day that the only way that you're going to get space battles this fall in the Star Wars universe is playing Disney Infinity 3.0.
That's not true. Obviously, they're going to have expansions. And I have to say that on the record, I have not played it. I've not played it at all, so this is just what I think. We talked about this on our last GamerCast, or maybe 2 episodes ago. So real quick, I mean, if you're doing like let's say 20 on 20, and you're on Hoth, and you're allowed to take a TIE fighter and go into space and have a space battle, what's the first thing everyone's going to do? So your team starts here, the other team starts here. You're all going to rush the planes, or sorry, the starships, and go in space. What if you're one of the suckers who didn't get a starship? You're sitting on Hoth, and now what are you doing? There's no engagement. Do you know what I mean? So they have to be careful how big they make these maps. You have to be very careful, because the last thing you want to do is have a guy running around bored.
That's true, but would you like to see a map that takes place in space?
Oh no, I would, but I think it's going to be separate. I don't think. Remember the original Battlefront 3 was you could get in the TIE fighter on Hoth and then go up to space, and it would transcend, and you wouldn't even see the loading time or anything, and you would be in space. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, that's a really big battleground. Unless you're going to do like 200 on 200 or something. You know what I mean? Like, they have to be very careful. The pacing is very important. Keeping people engaged is very important. So I understand why they cut that out.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. And but I'll be looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm going to get another taste of it when they bring out the beta very soon. And hopefully we can link up as far as it's concerned. We get Wright and Rob on as well. So I definitely look forward to
awesome.
it. And also your thoughts as a whole on Battlefront. We truly appreciate you taking the time to do that in the future. And also want to wish you, Rob, and the entire crew that everybody's going to be a part of it next week in London, Ontario.
I just want to take the time, Gerald, to thank you and your crew personally, because you guys have been just amazing, and big fan of everything that you guys do. I really am. And just the time that you guys take out of your schedule to interview us, and you've kind of been there every step of the way, and it's really important to us. So thank you.
Oh, no, we appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, it all goes back to that one day that Rob, stopped by at the Level Up Expo over a year ago and told us about his dream coming true. And we are believers now. I can definitely tell you that much. And we're just honored to be a part of, any way we can help at all. We're just honored to be a part of it. And
at the Portland Expo, we are actually going to announce the next project, which we're really excited about. So yeah, we're just getting warmed up here.
Sweet. That's awesome to hear. So once again, I appreciate your time, Jay, for being on and telling us all about your thoughts coming up and next weekend and whatnot. Want to wish you, Rob, again, the crew, all the best as far as coming up for next week. So
thanks again, man. Take care.
You too. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And well, thanks for listening and watching, and talk to you soon.